Universally loathed Martin Shkreli is doing another thing that's universally loathsome. He has decided to buy domain names of specific reporters who have posted critical articles on him and use those to harass them. Now, I don't think it's really, I think I'm with everyone when I say that is not fair. You are one, easily to criticize, and two, an asshole, and this is just proving it further. So this applied to 8 reporters in particular. One of them, Emily Saul of the New York Post, he offered to sell her domain name back to her for $12,000. However, on a call to Vice, he later said, "I'm a very rich guy. I don't need $12,000. I would never sell any of these domains for any price." For some of the other ones, he created a site associated with CNBC reporter Caroline Moss and wrote everything you need to know about this CNBC safe spacer. Similar site about Vanity Fair writer Maya Kosoff reads, "Here we honor one of the most vibrant social justice advocates today." And if you look up who owns these by it is Martin Shkreli via GoDaddy. He contends that it's perfectly legal to do this, and he may be right, but he may also be wrong. David J. Steele, who is a lawyer specializing in trademark and internet law, and who is a professor at Loyola Law School in Los Angeles, said there are a few different ways that reporters could fight back against this douchebag. When you buy a domain, you are required to enter somewhat into a contract with the domain provider, in this case GoDaddy, and as part of that contract, Shkreli needed to be able to abide by an international guideline called the Uniform Domain Name Dispute Resolution Policy, or as I call it, UDIRP. So this was created by an internet corporation in order to stop cyber squatters, essentially, or people who would hold on to domain names for no reason really at all, as well as to stop abuse in some ways. If the journalists were to seek an administrative proceeding under the rules of UDIRP, it would have to prove that Shkreli registered the domains with, quote, bad faith intent, and that they were confusingly similar to a trademark or service mark in which the journalists have a right to. So they would need to show that their name is connected to the work they do, which it often is if you are a journalist and have a byline. So the reporters would also need to demonstrate that Shkreli doesn't have any rights or legitimate interests to the domain that he purchased, which I don't think is terribly hard, but it seems like the burden of proof in this case and the next case are definitely on the reporters themselves. There's also the Anti-Cybersquatting Consumer Protection Act, which is very similar to UDIRP. The law would provide a civil cause of action to a trademark holder for the registration, tracking, in, or use of the domain that is identical or confusingly similar to a trademark. And under this law, reporters would have to essentially prove very similar things. However, in this, something that a judge might look to is that the defendant if the defendant tried to sell the domain name, it shows evidence of bad faith. So it looks like he did offer to sell it. However, it seemed also like a joke. So that makes it negligible about whether it'd be admissible in court. And it's a little worrisome there. Also, with this particular Consumer Protection Act, the statutory damages could be between $1,000 to $100,000 for the journalists if they could win. Shkreli thinks he's super rich and doesn't care if he loses that money, so I doubt that would stop him. There's one last way that Steele noted that the journalists could protect themselves in this, which is there is the cyber piracy protections for individuals. It's a federal law that protects people when someone registers a domain name in their name, and it's a lot more narrow. They would need to have the journalist prove that Shkreli registered the domains with a specific intent to profit from such name by selling the domain name for financial gain, which goes back again to the other burden of proof of getting that down. It might be difficult, and they would only be able to recover the domain itself as well as attorney's fees. Lastly, you could also file for slander or defamation, which certainly seems like they have a strong case for here. So Shkreli, it's upsetting because he can probably get through a lot of this with his massive amounts of money that he got from profiting off of human misery like he does. Though I think since he is so universally hated, perhaps someone could set up a GoFundMe account for one or all of these journalists to fight him in court, because what he's doing, while kind of in the gray area of legality is a dick move to do. And we're all sick of him, I think. I'm not making a bold statement by saying that he's a person that nobody really likes and he's done awful things. Audience, would you contribute to a fund to fight Martin Shkreli? Please let me know below, and please help me come up with it, and please like and subscribe for more.